Job was a man who loved God with all his heart. He lived in the land of Uz, had a big family, and cared for many animals: camels, sheep, donkeys, and even oxen. Everyone in the land knew Job as a kind and honest man who helped the poor, prayed every day, and always thanked God for his blessings. Up on the hill near Job's home, a gentle turtle dove named Tamar often perched on the fence posts, watching Job's daily work. She loved seeing him feed his animals and greet travelers with a smile. "That man truly loves God," she cooed to her bird friends. "He is kind to everyone and always speaks words that please the Lord." Far away, in a place we cannot see, God looked down at Job with joy. "Have you seen my servant Job?" he said to the angels. "There is no one like him. He loves me and always does what is right." But the devil stepped forward. "Job only loves you because you bless him," he said with a sneer. "You have given him so much: money, family, and he is healthy. If you take those blessings away, he will stop loving you." God, who knew Job's heart better than anyone, allowed the devil to test him, but only within certain limits. God was confident that Job would remain faithful. The next day, Tamar noticed the sky was strangely quiet. She flew to the pasture and saw Job's servants running, their faces pale. She landed near a sheepdog named Simon, who guarded Job's flocks. Simon's tail drooped low. "Enemies came," Simon said sadly. "They took all the oxen and donkeys, and they hurt the servants who were caring for them." Before Tamar could answer, a camel named Kai came galloping into the courtyard, rope dragging behind him. "Fire from the sky fell on the sheep," Kai cried. "It burned everything. I barely escaped." Another servant came panting. "Enemies attacked again. This time they took all the camels." And then the most heartbreaking news of all came from a trembling servant. "A mighty wind knocked down the house where Job's sons and daughters were eating. The house fell. They are gone." Tamar's little heart ached. In one day, Job had lost nearly everything: his animals, his servants, and his children. She flew to the courtyard and saw Job fall to his knees. But Job did not shout at God or turn away from him. Instead, Job said quietly, "The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." Tamar whispered to Simon, "Even now, Job praises God." Time passed, but the devil was not finished. Once again, in the place we cannot see, God spoke of Job's faithfulness. The devil replied, "If you hurt Job's body, he will not love you." God allowed the devil to make Job sick, but not to take his life. Soon after, Tamar saw Job sitting in ashes. His body was hurting. A wise old owl named Abijah flew down to the tree above him. "Job still prays to the Lord," Abijah hooted gently, "even though his body is in pain." But not everyone understood. Job's wife came to him and said, "Are you still holding on to your faith? You should not love God anymore." Job looked at her with kindness, even though he hurt all over. "Should we only love God when we are happy? We need to love him even when bad things happen," he said. And even then, Job still loved God. News of Job's troubles spread far and wide. 3 of his friends traveled a long way to see him. A curious red fox named Fineas followed them from the edge of the road, wondering what they would say. When the friends first saw Job, they barely recognized him. His face was thin and his eyes were tired. They sat down beside him without speaking for 7 days. Fineas tilted his head. They must really care about him, he thought. But when they finally spoke, their words were not kind. "Job," they said, "you must have done something wrong. God would not let this happen to you unless you did something bad." Phineas's ears twitched. He didn't like this at all. "But Job is faithful," he whispered to Tamar when they met by the fig tree. Job told his friends, "I have done nothing to deserve this. I don't understand why God has allowed it, but I know He is wise and just." Days turned into weeks. Job talked to God often, pouring out his sadness and confusion. "Why is this happening to me, Lord?" he prayed. One evening, as the wind swirled across the hills, a deep voice spoke from a great whirlwind. Tamar fluttered her wings, and Phineas's eyes grew wide. It was the voice of God. "Job," God said, "were you there when I made the earth? Can you tell the sun to rise or the snow where to fall? Do you know how the stars are set in place, or how the sea knows where to stop?" Job realized God's wisdom and power were far greater than anything a person could understand. He bowed low and said, "I know that you can do all things. I spoke about things I did not understand. I am sorry, Lord." God was pleased with Job for trusting him, even in the hardest times. But he was not happy about Job's 3 friends, because they had said things about God that were wrong. God told them to bring sacrifices and ask Job to pray for them. Job prayed for his friends, and God forgave them. Then something wonderful happened. God blessed Job again. Tamar watched as new sheep filled the pastures, twice as many as before. Simon wagged his tail happily, herding the new sheep. Phineas saw Job's home filled with the laughter of more sons and daughters. Job lived many more years, and everyone in the land once again spoke of his kindness and faith in God. One night, as the moon rose over the fields, Tamar settled on her favorite fence post and thought about all she had seen. Job never stopped loving God, she cooed softly, even when he lost everything, even when people didn't understand him, even when he was hurting, he trusted the Lord, and God was faithful to him. Phineas curled up beneath the fig tree and whispered, "We can trust God too. He loves us and knows what's best, even when we don't understand." And in the quiet night air, all the animals seemed to agree. The end.